Hello again, YouTube. This is another lesson in Adventures to Python, topic 2, your if and else statements. So just a disclaimer, I am a student, first year in my bachelor's in computer information technology. If you wish to ask the experts or look up the experts about this stuff, I would recommend purchasing this book, Adventures in Python. Really good book. You can buy it on Amazon.com. Really basic, laid out and simple. Written by Craig Wichens. Anyway, let's begin. Excuse me. So, quoting from the book, what is an if statement? An if statement is used in programs to decide whether or not to run a section of code. This decision is made based on a condition. Conditions are questions, for example. Is the price of chocolate bar equal to the amount of money given to it? Or was the input equal to yes? If the condition is true, then the code of the body of the if statement will run. If otherwise, it will not. Now, else statement works alongside the if statement. If the body of an if statement, will only run if the condition is true. On the other hand, the body of the matching else statement will only run if the condition of the if statement is false. So I'll show you how all that works in just simple code. I'll just migrate to the relevant page on this book. It's easier to learn using the books than just you know, googling it old school way. So I'm just gonna put this up here. So we're gonna so I've opened up my Python shell and I've opened up a new module. So I'm going to start beginning the codes. To begin with, I'm just going to type in a variable. I'm going to type in a variable as has cider, and then I'm just going to push the equal button as we learnt before in topic 1 about variables, and then we're just going to put it in input. We no longer do raw inputs with the Python upgrade, it's just input, and then the computer's going to ask the question, do you have cider? Have any cider? We put a little space to give room for your input, and then we move down to the next line of code. Now we're going to put in the if statement. So this is the if statement. If has cider, I'm going to define this variable later, equals. Now we're going to do a compare statement. So a compare statement is two equal signs. So to compare in Python language, so you compare, say, if user input compares to, you know, what you type in, you put in a equal sign plus another equal sign. So it's two equal signs. That means compare. It compares the code. It compares the input. So we put in a compare statement. If has cider equals, and then we put into the print statement, which is yes. Let me just fix this up here. Yes. And now what we want to do is we want to put in those two little dots. You know, those two little dots on your keyboard. I don't know what they're called. I'm a student. I'm not an expert. But we put in these two little dots because that's opening up a new indent. So this is all got to be in the same indent. It's really important with Python, you learn how to use indents. So as you can see here, it's taken a custard down like a tab key ahead. So this is important. You always got to be a tab key ahead when you do an indent. I'll write it out and you understand anyway. So if has cider, print. The computer's gonna speak to you, and the computer's gonna say, nice. Okay, shout me one. Well, the computer's just gonna say, nice, I'm thirsty, nice. Then the computer's gonna, again, hold on, I need to go back. I made an error. So as you can see here, Actually, no, I have not made an error. I apologize. So I'll just show you here. You got your variable here. Has cider equals input. And so if you enter yes into the input of do you have cider when computer asks you do you have any cider, and that compares to yes, which is that variable here, the computer will print nice. Then the computer is going to ask you another question. I'm going to do this by another variable. I'm just going to say, give me cider. So that's a variable. And I'm just going to press equal command. So it's not a compare command. This is just an equal command. And then I'm just going to do an input statement. Then the computer's going to ask a question. Can I have some? Question mark, space, and you know, special characters. Press enter. Now we're going to put in an if statement again. So I'm going to go put if give me cider, which is the variable. Give me cider compares to yes. And I'm going to put in, because I'm doing another if statement here, I'm going to put another, you know, those two dots. I'm going to press enter, and it's moved the indent up. The computer's going to print. So say if you said yes to the computer, you can, the computer will, you know, print this statement. So I'm just going to type in print. And the computer's going to say, let's say if you gave a computer a cider, it's going to say, what's something funny? I don't know, the computer's just going to say, pour on the keyboard. I don't recommend pouring cider on the keyboard, by the way. I'm just being smart. Now, say you don't want to give your cider computer. You got to do else statement. So I'm going to press enter, and now I'm going to press the backspace button, because I'm going to do an else command. I'll explain this to all you after I, you know, within the command. So I'm going to put a else, and I'm going to print. Let's say I'm just going to print holding out on me. Oh no. I don't know, you wanker. I'm Australian, by the way, so that's just how we speak. Now I'm going to do another else statement here. So this is the else statement. If you say anything else to has cider, I'll go through all this with you in a second. Else, and I'm just going to do another print one. Holding out on me. You holding out on me. Rightio. Now, if I get errors, I apologise. I'm a student. You learn when I learn. So, just to go over this code. So we got a variable here which is has cider. And that equals the input, do you have any cider? So the input, of course, is you input something, and the computer's asking for input, and the computer asks this question during the input. Now you got your if statement, if has cider equals yes. Excuse me. The computer's going to print nice. Then the computer's going to generate a new variable, which is give me cider. It's going to ask for another input. And it's going to ask if it can have some cider. Now, if you say yes again, in this new if statement, so I created a new if statement, and it says if give me cider, the variable equals yes, that's your input equals yes, the computer's just going to say pour on the keyboard. If you type in something else other than yes, though, the computer's going to print you wanker. Now, down here I've got another else statement, which is print you holding out on me. I'll just put another little question mark on here. So to show you how this kind of all flows together. You can see here I got a few tabs, or I moved the indent up on line 3, line 4, line 5, and on line 6 I moved it up 2 indents. Line 7 it's just 1 indent, and line 8 it's 2 indent. That's basically, you know, your tab keys. I do this because when I do an if statement, it's got those 2 little dots, and when you do 2 little dots after a statement, it's going to want to move up an indent. You've got to get your indents right on Python, or it's just not going to work. So the way that works is, say if the computer asks, do you have any cider, and you say yes, I have cider, it's going to go to this code here. It's going to run this code here. But if you decide to put in something else when the computer asks, you have cider, say if you have no, I don't have cider, it's not going to run this code. It's going to jump straight to this path here. So it's going to go straight to this end up path here, which is just the print you holding out on me. So I'll run this command now and just show you how this basically works. So I'll just save it. I'll save over Python 101. I'll replace the folder. So as you can see here, it's asking, do you have any cider? And I've got to say, yes, I have cider. And the computer prints, nice. The computer asks, can I have some? I say yes. And the computer asks me to port on the keyboard. End of the program. It's only a short program. Now let's run this again by just pressing F5. Now the computer's asking, do you have any cider? I'm going to type in no. And it says you're holding out on me. So in typing no instead of the yes, it's jumped from here, up here, as you can see where I typed it in. And it's jumped straight down here to the else statement. Let's run this again. I'm just going to go this through a few times so it all, sinks in. The computer asks, do you have any cider? Yes, I have cider. The computer says, nice. The computer says, can I have some cider? So now this command here is going here to give me cider. The computer wants cider. I'm not going to say no. And the computer's just going to call me a wanker, which is this code here, and it ends the command. Now there are the while statements, if else statements and that, so you can actually create it in a loop. So it doesn't actually end the command. The computer can just keep on asking you questions, and it can just go back. So say if you I'll just run this again to show you what I'm talking about. Do you have any cider? Now say you just press a typo. Like I do a lot of typos. You just say, no mate, no cider. It'll still say you're holding out on me. But let's say if I do another thing. Say if it asks, do you have any cider, and I just press a number of keys. It's going to say, still going to say you're holding out on me. The reason it's doing this is because I'm only using an if command and an else command. I'm not using while statements, and I'm not using if else statements, which will be all explained in the next video. So the computer's not running in a loop. So the computer's looking for you to put an input of yes. When you put in the input of yes, I'll just show you here again. So the computer asks, do I have cider? And I say yes. I might move this up here. Yeah. And the computers are going to ask, can it have some cider? And it's looking for the keyword yes. So if I enter a keyword yes, it's going to jump straight to this print statement, and it's going to ask, can I have some cider? And it's looking for another yes. Anything else, which is what the else command means. So say if I decide to say, type in XYD. Because I typed in XYD, that is the else statement, and it's going to go print you wanker. I'll just run this one more time before I end this video. So, do you have any cider? Yes, I have cider. So I type in yes. I press enter. So I typed in yes, I press enter. The computer's going to print nice. It's going to go to this code, and it's going to say, can I have some cider? And it's waiting for you to input yes. So you input yes, and the computer will then print this statement here, port on the keyboard. There's no while statements in here, so the program ends. Now I'm just going to run this one more time, so it sinks in. Do you have any cider? And I'm going to say, no, I don't have any cider. So as you can see, I typed in no. Now because no does not equal compared to yes, remember the two equal signs? So the two equal signs is, saying, because when you put two equals, it's asking if it compares to yes. If you put anything else other than yes, and that includes caps lock. If you use caps lock, it's still going to mess up, because it's Python. When I run this command here, and if you put anything in here which is not a yes, it's going to jump straight down to here. It's going to say, okay, that's an else statement, so it's going to point out, are you holding out on me? Next video I'll show you how to do while statements and else if statements, which kind of brings this all together. So if you type in, say if you, I'll show this for example. So I want this computer to read yes or no. I don't want it to pick up, say if I enter a typo and I say no, and I enter a bunch of, you know, characters here. What I want the computer to do is I want the computer to ask me again. I want it to say that's the incorrect input, and it will ask the question again, do you have any cider? You do that with a while statement. I'll show you that in the next video. For now, just learn your if and else statements. So if statement, just to go over again if you still don't know this. If statement is, oh, hold on, I'll just run this again. If statement is if the if statement equals to the input. So I type in the user input, which is yes, and as you can see here, if has cider, it compares to yes. The computer will then asks if you can have some cider. Then it asks, and then you've seen this code, if give me cider equals yes. It will then say pour the cider on the keyboard. I don't recommend that, don't pour it on this keyboard. But say if you enter no, you have cider but the computer's not getting cider, that's going to be an else statement, so you press no, and because that's an else statement, it's going to go to, you know, your wanker. The key thing to remember here is when you do if and else statements, when you do an if statement and an else statement, they always have these little characters here, which is, I'm just going to, you know, these things here. So those characters. They always finish with those characters. Now when you finish with that character, it's going to put it up in indent. So this is really important with Python language because as you can see here, the if statement and the else statement is here within the same indent. Because if you ask if the computer asks do you have any cider and you enter something which is not yes, it's not going to run this code. It's instead going to jump straight to this code in this indent here. So indent in your code, which is just pressing the tab key when you're doing if and else statements, is very, very important. Anyway, I hope that sunk in. I'll make another video shortly. Just cider time and slow internet. And disclaimer: I'm a student, not an expert. I'm just reading a book like old people do. See ya.